And there's people.
Hey, everybody, what's going on? How's it going?
Hello, people.
I didn't know if that board was anything important. It didn't look like the normal board.
Nope, I was just connecting Bluetooth.
Ah, very good.
To the tooth. To the
So
old
we can
BT.
talk to your degenerate gambling friend, Pat's Pick of the Week.
Yeah,
How was that? Was that good?
That wasn't bad. His problem was he picked against my old toffees here. Got it wrong.
Never good.
But in all fairness,
Usually screws me, too.
But in all fairness, I also did say that was a game we were probably going to lose.
Yeah, right.
Historically, love to lose at St. Mary. We love to piss it right off at St.
It
Mary's
did
Park.
smack of that.
I don't blame him. Oh, we ready to do a show, kids?
I'm prepared.
All right.
I think so. I got to make sure I have all of my screens and everywhere doing all the things they're supposed to do.
Mel's got a lot going on over there.
It's the producer Mel story.
We are fully aware of that one.
All right. Yeah, I'm ready.
This is Danny from Baltimore, Maryland, representing one of the 6 Wolves fans in Baltimore. You're listening to DU Football Show.
And their light one coach now, apparently, too.
Yeah, that always makes me laugh.
That is a good one. And that was great because that was actually Danny's first time meeting us, ever being exposed to the show ever.
Yep.
Was that live show at
Monument.
At Monument.
It was pretty good. Somebody said, I'm sorry. So I heard today, Bruno Lage no longer in charge.
Let's start the show.
Born in the land of Bowie, Maryland. Bred to be a fan of fucking Everton. Punch you in the eye and drink your rye. Sam Houston.
Sam Houston?
Arsenal fans have another Sam. Right day, the fucking Gooner Graham. Stump of a lord. Look straight in shorts. Sam Graham, hey.
Sam Graham.
Fucking United! Fucking United!
Hello and welcome to the DU Football Show, a completely biased recap of the English Premier League as told by 2 common American schmucks. I am your host, Sam Houston, and across the way from me, the man that's going to risk life and limb to fly Spirit Airlines in his swim trunks.
Yes.
Just because daddy needs to get to the beach fucking quicker.
Damn straight.
Samuel Graham. Sammy, how you doing, buddy?
I am excited to get the fuck on that plane. Let me tell you.
Has said no one that's flown Spirit Airlines ever.
I know. They are the stuff of desperation, and I've reached that stage. This year, I am in desperate need to get out of Dodge.
You know what Southwest's new slogan is, right?
What?
Southwest, we're not Spirit. We're recorded at the DU Public House just outside the nation's capital. You can check us out on all podcast platforms. Please be sure to rate, subscribe, review, and share with a footballing friend. Should you want to chat with us, there is many ways that you can. Mr. Graham, how do the good people get in touch?
Well, if Spirit Airlines would like to get in touch with an advertising opportunity, it's dufootballshow@gmail.com.
I think that answer would be a big resounding no from them.
We have a very small, actually reasonable nominal fee to speak positively about your company. And then at DU Football Show at all the social medias to get in touch on there. That's Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook.
Lovely. If you get a chance, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. That helps a ton. A quick review. There haven't been any in a few months, so you haven't had a chance. Even if you reviewed us before, review a new show.
Can you see reviews on Spotify?
No, you can't.
I can't
All you can see is the stars.
It's stars, yeah, right? Annoying.
And it might be that's it. It might just be hit stars because obviously, I've rated our show a 5-star when I've been on.
Because it is.
5 stars, motherfucker. There's an old show I used to listen to that isn't on anymore. It was called The Crab Feast. And they would tell people, they'd be like, rate us 5 stars, and then in the comments say, fuck the Crab Feast.
Because the comments.
We don't care what you say, just 5 stars.
Yeah, it's because those are the two things. The more comments moves you up the line. Doesn't matter what the comments are.
Right.
Just to have comments. And then the star ratings, obviously.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
I'm all for anyone who wants to do kind of like a creative way of slamming us. Like Houston got his humble beginnings. Sheep herding, and like if they want to write some kind of diatribe, that would be fucking hysterical. And I can guarantee you, surefire way. As long as you're not Taylor, because Taylor, I know you'll do this. I want somebody else to do it.
Yeah.
Surefire way to definitely get that review read on the air. That's for damn sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, you read Mike Rogers' reviews.
Oh, yes, we did.
Also, make sure you join the closed Facebook group, Drunken United FC. That's where most of the banter happens online.
Discord. We have a link. We have a link tree to all of our stuff pinned to both Instagram and to Facebook and to our Twitter as well. So
yes,
easy enough to get in touch. Sam and myself both work in the wine and spirit industry and both have a deep, passionate love for all things distilled spirits. So as the red-blooded Americans we are, we vow to have a drink in our hand throughout this show and every single show. Mr. Graham, this is a little something we've been waiting a little while for, and I'm excited that we're finally getting to drink it.
Yes, it is Whistle Pig's Piggyback Bourbon, 6-year-old bourbon whiskey. 97% corn on this one, 2% rye, 1% barley. It is 100 proof, aged for 6 years, as I said. I think it's a pretty damn good whiskey. It's
big sweet, sweet.
Well, the corn content is massive, obviously.
Yeah, big sweet.
Not a ton of heat
for being 100 proof. Yeah, not a ton.
I was not expecting it to be that sweet.
I think it's quite good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be perfect for a bartender. That kind of, if you don't want to use Bullet, because, well, fuck Bullet.
Yeah.
And you wanted something that's a little more elevated. This is going to be a little more elevated.
Absolutely.
A little bit, for those kind of top shelf drinks, things like that.
And you're looking between $49.99 and $54.99.
That's not bad at all.
Nah.
Not bad one bit.
Not decent. It really could be a Sunday through Thursday bottle of whiskey, if you really wanted it to be.
Or Mr. Graham, his Thursday through Sunday, drinking a lot of tequila, spicy margaritas and palomas down in Cancun while he's trying to not die on Spirit Airways.
Yes, that will all be happening.
Okay, well, so what is something you should do every single time, Sam?
Make sure you drink responsibly unless you're about to get on a plane and fucking go nuts. Just kidding. Drink responsibly.
Absolutely, yeah, because you don't want to go getting kicked off that plane, because we've been seeing a few of those videos making the rounds here lately as well.
It's dangerous enough on Spirit. You don't need to be getting thrown out the side of it either.
No, not when and that's kind of airline. They'd be like, okay, well, you off the plane. No, for reals. We got an airlock. You putting on the parachute and
get the fuck out.
You get the fuck out. We're done now. The North London and the Manchester derbies did not disappoint. By the way, we forgot to cheers. My apologies.
We did forget to cheers.
Cheers, good sir. Very good.
There you go.
Both derbies did not disappoint. Both had a ton of goals, and both victors find themselves in 1 and 2 in the table.
Yeah, but there's only one in first, though.
Arsenal 3, Tottenham 1, Manchester City 6, Manchester United 3. Gotta say, Sam, before you get to go all you and fucking jizz everywhere, the first half of the North London derby, for an outsider's perspective, turned out exactly like every other North London derby. Your guys, it was a lot of build up and a lot of opportunity, and then you finally get a goal, and it's a gorgeous goal at that, and then you pseudo fuck it off / Tottenham takes advantage of an opportunity and ties it up. Yep. I mean that is textbook what your derbies are all the time.
Yeah, all the time.
And then the second half happened.
Well, what a game, honestly. It was end-to-end stuff. Both teams had chances. I think Arsenal were in control of the game for most of it. But Tottenham did create themselves some chances. Now, their final pass, their crossing was not up to their normal standard, and that was helpful, obviously. Right. Yeah. But Ramsdale was forced into 2 or 3 fantastic saves, and he did make them, which proved to be the difference. Obviously, Thomas Partey with the opening goal. I mean, how many times have we seen him shoot from long range and then end up in row Z?
Yeah,
without a doubt. And this time was on target, and what a shot it was. I mean, you couldn't have held it in the corner any better. Hugo Lloris had started moving towards that side, still couldn't get to it.
Yeah, it's almost like he just kind of did like a little hook pass because it was kind of off the side of the
inside of his foot. Yeah, it was his instep.
It was just almost like he just went, okay, I'm just going to lay it right up there, and I'm going to put it where he can't get to it.
Yeah, it was like a really firm pass, basically. Yeah, exactly right. And it was fucking gorgeous. I mean, you couldn't beat it. Arsenal were just at the races. I mean, they were tuned in, and it was a stupid counterattack that we found ourselves kind of a little disjointed on the left side, Tottenham's right side. And I can't remember who it was that cut in. It was Richarlison.
Richarlison got the penalty.
What a dive. I mean, it was excellent.
He got all leg. It was clear.
I don't know what game you were watching.
Gabriel Jesus got leg.
I just know Richarlison's reputation from his time at both Everton and Watford.
His reputation isn't to be a diver. His reputation is to be an embellisher. He gets fouled a lot. It's not like old Jackie boy who just falls over the minute you touch his back. Typically,
I see you standing up for your boy. It's all right.
That man gets hacked.
That's all right.
I was standing up for him when he was an Evertonian too. I told you I hated how much he over-embellished. Because he did. He over-embellishes like crazy.
I know.
But he definitely... It was a foul. It was a foul. It was a penalty.
It was a penalty. I mean, they did get it right. Ramsdale was a little unlucky. Went kind of the right way, but Kane left it more towards the middle, even though it was kind of near to Ramsdale's body. Just couldn't get a foot on it to save it. And they were tied 1-1, obviously. Then, thank you... Emerson Royale.
I was going to say, well, first, somebody's halftime talk worked. Somebody's didn't.
Yeah, that's true. We did score before Emerson got sent off. Well, Hugo Lloris, I mean, he had a couple of saves himself. How somebody of his quality...
It was a bad
Yeah, I mean, he's very... The last couple seasons, he's very much had some Jens Lehmann about him. Good, consistent, good goalkeeper, right? But every now and again in the big games... absolute howler. Where did that come from? I mean, that was a pretty easy.
It just
should have been
right under his arm, right under his fucking arm. He should have had that.
And
one.
Gabriel Jesus reacted first and was able to poke home.
Yep.
So I mean, it was,
make up for the penalty give.
Exactly. Good poacher's goal put us right back on top. Just 3 minutes after halftime or so. And then Emerson Royale did his business, which was absolutely shocking.
So I will say the following: it's a red card, right? But I've also seen that been given a yellow a lot too.
It was initially, I think,
mostly to Virgil van Dijk. Honestly, I would call that a Derby red. That's a Derby red. That's one of those. I mean, it's one of those in the moment. You hear the crowd. You're looking at the replay. Because I like, and you can agree. That gets given a yellow a lot too. It does get given a red.
It should be a red because you're stamping on the plant foot. I mean, honestly, if he had gone in any harder, he could have snapped his leg.
Oh yeah, no. And again, this isn't me like trying to goat you or anything like that. I feel it was a red card, and I feel that the right call was made. But I also look at a lot of other examples where that exact same foul happens and does not get a red card. It only gets the yellow card. So it kind of like I said, for me, it felt like a Derby red just because it was like, you're in the moment, you're looking at it. The video obviously is going to make sure you see, right, where those spikes are going right into that ankle. And I think the Derby influenced it a little.
The other piece to this, it wasn't even relatively close to the ball. I mean, the ball was well out of Martinelli's feet at that point. It just wasn't even close. And that was also his trail leg. So it's like your feet, literal feet off of the ball. Like, there's no way you can even make an excuse that you were trying to go for it because you weren't.
And we'll get into it as well with later with another match later on in so that happened. Don't give the ref that decision. Don't give him that decision. If you don't want the worst possible outcome, don't put yourself in a scenario in which worst possible outcome can happen. And that's exactly what happened.
100%. And that absolutely contributed to Arsenal's third.
Oh, yeah.
They were short at the back. At this point, Arsenal were well and truly on top, and Tottenham made 4 substitutions, which first of 2 times that happened this weekend. And this one looked, there were 2 very different outcomes. This one smacked of desperation, and Arsenal took advantage of it. Again, Martinelli recovered from that injury, that knock. dished out by Royale, and cut in from the left-hand side. Was kind of running out of room, but one of the Tottenham defenders, I can't remember who it was now, maybe Davies, overran him a little bit. Granit Xhaka took the ball actually off of Martinelli's foot, and by the time the two defenders reacted, Granit Xhaka was already away onto his favorite left foot and rifled the ball home into the far side. It was excellent. And then Arsenal saw the game out well. I think there was one more save Ramsdale had to make, and it was a job well done.
Well, and also for Tottenham, while there was a goal right after the 4 subs, but the 4 subs did also what they needed, what Conte needed it to do. Give up no more goals.
Right.
That's really what it came down to.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Where and I'm not done talking about this match yet, but when we get to the next match, that no go so well for United, right?
It did not.
They kept giving them up, which is the problem. At some point, you have to try to shut down the fucking, turn off the faucet, stop the scoring, like, especially because those 2 goals could be the difference between second and third place, or first place and second, or Champions League or not Champions League, in the instance of all of these big 6 clubs, who we're going to be talking about all of them in the first 2 segments here. Like, those goals mean something.
Yep.
Those goals mean a
100%.
fucking lot.
100%. I mean, we say it in the relegation scrap all the time. Those goals are a point at the end of the season.
Absolutely.
If you don't remember, Alex Ferguson's Manchester United won the league on goal difference. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
At one point,
Over City.
right?
It was Ferguson's final year.
Those goals are worth a point, basically, in the grand scheme of things. So the City being as free flowing as they are worries. It's going to worry the rest of the league for sure.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. You need to be aware of goal differential. And
but if they keep shipping goals like this, though, 3 to Newcastle, 3 to if Arsenal find their boots, we might. I like it.
Yeah. Now, what does this mean for both sides? First, let's start with Tottenham.
Probably relegation.
Okay.
Let's start there. It means the whole thing is on fire, and Conte's standing there with a bottle of gasoline. Okay. Yeah. Nothing. It's too early in the season for it to really mean much, other than it continues to grow Arsenal's confidence. I mean, I think it does more for us than it hurts them.
Yeah, for Tottenham, I was going to say it really doesn't hurt them at all.
And we've talked about it a few times. They haven't been playing particularly well anyway.
Right. If you're going to lose to your rivals in their building at the early part of the season, okay.
There's been some draws, but I saw some ridiculous stat that Tottenham hadn't won at the Emirates since like 2010 in the Premier League.
Wow, that's a big stat.
In the Premier League.
Well, I mean,
it's one of those situations where it's like, but then we consistently go to their place and lose as well,
Precisely.
Yeah, and especially the last couple of seasons.
So they feel like, we'll just get them when we get them back,
and it'll be a wash. It'll be a wash, right? No big deal.
We'll get them in our building.
So I think, like I said, but in the position we are with as young as our team is and everything else, I think it does more for us in galvanizing and firming up the commitment to each other and the team spirit. It does more for us than it does hurt Tottenham.
We talked about this last week, and I'll just go ahead and say it again. You're sitting there, and your assistant is holding a clipboard, and that's another big fucking check mark.
Yep.
That's beat a top 6 side, beat a rival at home. Boom. Big. Yep. If you're going down the checklist of this team improving and this team battling for a title, that's a big fucking check. And this next weekend is another big fucking check.
Yep.
Like,
hopefully.
this is...
we're catching them at the right time.
Oh, definitely catching them at the right time.
So, let's hope.
So 20 minutes in with Varane playing center back, it seemed like we're going to keep Erling Haaland in check, and we're not going to let De Bruyne beat us. The problem was you had Bernardo Silva and Jack Grealish down the other side of the field running buckshot, and they're already up 1-0.
Yeah.
And then Varane gets hurt, and then 3 more goals.
Yeah.
Like literally in 10 minutes. Just like, oh, now it's 4-0.
Yeah. So the funniest 2 things that I saw this weekend was Harry Maguire smiling on the sidelines of this game. Because the attention's finally off of him, I guess. And he couldn't possibly have affected it because he wasn't playing. And a video that got shared of the Big Show from WWE and Wee Man in the ring together at the same time, and Big Show smacking the shit out of Wee Man, and him doing a couple of like kind of cartwheel-esque flips on the back of the slap.
Right.
And the caption was Erling Haaland versus Martinez. And I about lost my shit.
3 hat tricks for 3 home games in a
row.
fucking row.
In a row. 3 hat tricks, tying Ronaldo's 3 hat tricks that he has in the Premier League as well. Erling Haaland did it in 8 fucking games.
Mm-hmm.
8 games.
And then Phil Foden also gets a hat trick.
Yeah, and Phil Foden's the near post goal, actually, out of the lot of them, I think was probably the best goal of the bunch.
Oh, and 2 of Foden's assists
to Haaland. Yeah, and Haaland got an assist for his too.
Yeah.
One of his.
Yeah,
it was brilliant. And I mean, City were on it. I mean, to the point where they literally gave up on 75 minutes. The 4 substitutions was like a training game, right? Like a training situation. They brought on all 4 people at once, and the standard dropped. I mean, Ederson 2 or 3 times kicked the ball out of bounds from goal kicks.
Right.
I haven't seen him do that in 2 years.
Yeah.
You know, they just literally fucking gave up because they were being too good.
I'm giggling. I'm assuming it's Taylor in the chat said Graham is here for teams that make 4 substitution at once. And that was 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, because it happened twice and it's never happened before. Like, it was awesome. It was like a friendly. It was great. And 2 different circumstances, as I said. But, I mean, United... Anthony Martial getting off the mark with his goals, fine. That bodes well.
Mm-hmm.
But City at that point had checked out. They didn't give a shit. And Pep said it in his post match. He said our standards dropped. He said that this is not what he expects from his team. He wants them to play for the full 90 minutes.
That game should have been 6-1 because there's no stopping that Anthony goal.
No, there's not. It'll go as one of the great forgotten goals.
Yeah.
There's how many consolation goals that get scored that nobody fucking remembers.
Yeah.
But him getting off the mark in general, Anthony Martial, is a good thing, right, for United. That helps them. But, as I said, the manner in the defeat and the effort that City were putting in at the time of Martial's goals, I don't think the team can really take anything from it.
Interesting, Martial got the penalty and not Bruno Fernandes when he was on the pitch as well. That was,
and I wonder if a lot of that Bruno Fernandes rather looks a very frustrated player.
Oh yeah, he definitely does.
Yelling at teammates, yelling at the referee. He looks petulant.
Yeah,
and childish. And things just aren't going well for him.
No.
I could see him losing his place in the team, moving Christian Eriksen back further up the pitch, and bringing in Casemiro to start full time.
Well, and that's how it should work out.
That's how it should be because Bruno Fernandes has not been playing well.
Because he's my first-round pick in fantasy, and every year my first-round pick in fantasy decides to fuck it off and end up eventually on the bench. Aubameyang did that a few times for me.
Yep.
Hell, he got off and shipped off at one point. And then, now with Bruno Fernandes, he'll figure out a way to get him to fuck it right off.
Well, he already has, really. I mean, he scored 1 goal this season so far?
Yeah.
2 assists maybe, something like that? I mean, he's not played well.
Not offering anything.
Ronaldo didn't come off. Whoops.
I think
didn't come on, rather.
I think that's very strategic in that regards because that is exactly because people don't know this with Ronaldo, but he can be a bit of a hothead. This is exactly the game Ronaldo would come on and get a straightaway red and see himself with a 3-game suspension.
Well, here's the problem. But he's not playing anyway, really. Right. He's getting the last 12, 15 minutes.
But he's still,
Eric Ten Hag, when he first got signed.
He could still be a difference maker.
No, absolutely.
At that time.
Eric Ten Hag said when he first got signed, right, as manager of Manchester United, he came out and said something to the effect of, we're going to treat Ronaldo like everybody else. It's not going to be a problem.
Right.
Then after this game in his post-match said, I didn't bring him on out of respect for his big career.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Didn't want him to be a part of the game. Well,
then you're not treating him.
8 games in, you've already bowed to Ronaldo's fucking will.
Right.
Like,
hey, Ronaldo also, he could have looked at Ronaldo and said, get ready. And Ronaldo would be like, no, I don't know, mate. Calf's a little tight.
I seriously forgot that he was still playing.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I would have subbed him on purpose. Go humble yourself.
Right.
Bitch, be humble.
Right.
You remember that video? From
Yes, I
think
remember
it was
that
on
one.
Vine, that one.
Yep.
Bitch, be humble.
Be humble. So one thing we have definitely learned is United is still a ways off.
Yeah.
A ways off.
I really enjoyed the chat over the last couple of weeks, and that's why I kept my mouth shut all weekend in DUFC with everybody spouting off at the mouth. I said, no problem. Go ahead. You beat us. Well done. You counterattacked us to death. We controlled that entire game. You beat Liverpool. They're misfiring. You are not in a good way. And they were like, oh, no, we're marching straight up the table. Okay. All right.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Watch them go to Goodison and have problems next Sunday.
Yeah. I mean, as soon as the first meme was shared about United having written the ship, righted the ship, Pep Guardiola started writing United on the back of his left hand, which happens to be his pimp hand. Okay, in preparation for this game, and then just laid it across.
Now, with that being said, I was very proud of my my little post that I put up. Just wellness check on all United
on
supporters.
all the Mancs, yeah.
Need everybody to make sure they check in that they're safe from Hurricane City.
That's pretty good.
And then after the fact, just going, look, when the stupid fucking Gooners start doing their stupid fucking Gooner things, because it's what they fucking do, right? Just remember, Manx, this isn't on the rest of the group on this in this Facebook group. This is specifically on you all.
Oh, yeah.
Because you all have been a fucking unbearable for 3-4 straight weeks, and you deserve this. This is what you deserve.
I gave them nothing over the weekend on purpose. I just let them stew on it. And tonight, as I'm laying in bed, I'm gonna just start putting everything up. It's gonna be quick fire.
Now, all of that being said, Mr. Graham, I'm gonna leave you with one final thought, and I know you're not gonna like to hear this. City's the team to fucking beat, hands down, without a doubt.
The table doesn't lie, sir. Okay, we are the team to beat still.
Yeah, and you got real fuck lucky now that you're getting them both games right after the World Cup. That is fucking huge. That is fucking monster now.
That being said, I never wish for a player to get injured. You know that. I've always said that. But without an injury, I do think City will beat us for sure. I think it'll be a lot closer than it has been in years past. But I think they are better than us for sure in terms of just overall quality. But that being said, what I am worried about really is fatigue, right? So all of our players play for their countries. All of City's players play for their countries. But Norway's not very good. So Erling Haaland's going to have a month of rest.
Yep.
Fuck.
Well, Martin Odegaard too. That was
but if Jesus, Brazil's right now the bookie's favorite to win it.
Yeah.
So it could be going right to the end. He takes his hits. He doesn't dive like Richarlison does.
I hear you. Except for Richarlison scores winners for fucking Brazil, okay?
Hey, technically, Jesus had the second goal in this one, okay?
I'll tell you what, it's going to be tough, but I'm still, when it comes to the World Cup, I'm not fucking rooting for Brazil. I just can never bring myself to it.
I'm not either.
Never.
No.
I never can. But Peter Drury did mention in all of, like, while the game was going on, he was just like, just think about it. Martin Odegaard is playing brilliantly with Arsenal, and Erling Haaland is playing just otherworldly with City, and neither one of them are going to be in a World Cup because their team didn't qualify.
Yeah.
It's like,
it's wild.
Imagine if we had Haaland in a World Cup. Jesus.
Oh, yeah. That'd be awesome.
It could be, dare I say, Dixie Dean-esque.
Yeah, right.
The two other Big Six clubs both got points, but neither was easy, and they may already be slipping away from the title. Liverpool 3, Brighton 3, Chelsea 2, Palace 1. Trossard with the hat trick, and honestly, before that game was 2-1, it should have been 4-0.
Yeah, absolutely. What's good for Brighton is that they obviously haven't missed a beat since Graham Potter left.
Yeah,
that was the big worry. The coach they have now, because his name escapes me, came from Shakhtar Donetsk, and obviously the situation in Ukraine kind of forced him out prematurely because he did have a pretty good project going there,
right?
And he's ended up here. What was I heard in his post match? Said something about. It was asked a question about, like, what kind of coach are you or whatever. He said, I don't know. Like, I'm pretty sure that's not what you say in an interview.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm coach.
Yeah, man, the CEO of Brighton comes up. All right,
you.
well, why should we hire you? I'm brave. I don't know. Other than that, I'm not sure what to do here.
Maybe get a song out of the voice.
Pretty
I don't know.
fucking funny.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'll get
right.
out there. Do my thing.
It's weird. But yeah, so they didn't miss a beat. I mean, Trossard's been excellent this season. We showed glimpses of it last season and the season before. He's a very good player, but he's kind of added that killer instinct in this one.
Brighton's just going, there's another $70 million we're going to make next year.
Exactly. Yeah, potentially. Yeah, 100%. But it wasn't just the scoreline. Brighton matched Liverpool in just about every statistical category. Essentially, Liverpool had maybe 6 or 7% more possession than Brighton did, but that was it. That was really the only discrepancy.
Yeah, it looked like it at one point there when there was the own goal off a bad mistake from Sanchez, which was the only mistake he made the entire day. And hell, one of the only mistakes he's made this season. But you were like, oh, here comes the opportunistic win, the game against Newcastle for Liverpool.
Yeah,
they're gonna sneak away with this, and they really don't fucking.
They almost
deserve
did. It was that shot at the end. Sanchez dove, got it fingertips to, and turned it onto the post. It was excellent.
No,
Excellent save that. But it took Trossard just 17 minutes to get his brace.
Yep.
I mean, it was ridiculous stuff at the back from Liverpool.
Liverpool, the easy answer is to say Trent Alexander-Arnold because he's the right wing that you all. I mean, well,
it's also kind of the correct answer.
Also, that first goal, like Trossard just turned him the other way, and you just see him slotting it in the back of the net, and there's Trent Alexander on his knees after just having his ankles literally twisted. But it ain't just him. Van Dijk does not look good right now. He is making the third goal is on Van Dijk.
Yep.
Not looking good. Their defense looks like shit right now.
Yeah, and they also got very lucky with one of their goals. I mean, Mo Salah, it looked like a pass, I guess. It looked like he meant to do it, but Firmino had to make up a boatload of ground to get to that ball. The ball was not struck very well. He almost got beat to it by a Brighton defender, but he gathered it, got his feet well, and slotted home.
Yeah, and Mo was a hair on sides, like just a hair the other way. Was very close.
But it looked like a miss kick to me. Yeah. It looked like it went where he wanted it to go, but there's no way he meant it to be that slow dribbler like that. I mean, that what we used to call hospital balls. If somebody got a bug in their ass and decided to go for that, Firmino's doing a front flip before he hits the ground. You know what I mean?
All right, so 2 questions for you. The first one's not listed, but I want to go ahead and say it. Brighton good enough to make Europe?
I think eventually over the course of the season, it's going to
catch up to
them. But they're playing like they are right now.
Yeah, they really are.
But their problem has never been starting well or ending well. Their problem has been that 6-month slide in the middle of the table.
Yeah, exactly.
In the middle of the calendar.
January.
Yeah, exactly. Basically, Boxing Day forward until the middle of March, they shit the bed. So let's see if this manager can stop them from doing so.
And then the next thing, when or if is Liverpool going to get it right? Because they're a fucking mess right now.
I'm starting to worry for Klopp's job. I think he'll get to the end of the season, but I am starting to worry about his job a little bit because at some point, people say that things just need freshening up, but, whatever. Sometimes people's ideas stop getting through to the players. Some managers' ideas just stop getting through to the players. They're just tired of it. Going through having up until the last game of the season, having all 4 trophies in your favor and you winning only the 2 lesser ones.
Yeah.
I mean, that's something hard to pick up yourself up from. That's a big disappointment. You also have the Sadio Mane leaving. Yeah. He's a massive player for the club, obviously.
Yeah.
And you see how much they're missing him.
Mel, you had some thoughts?
Hey, Graham, here's a thought. Theoretically, there could be a week coming where Klopp and Gerrard are both out of a job within weeks of each other.
Yeah, that's true.
That's got to make you smile, Houston.
No, it does. But
I don't think Stevie G's... I think he'll slip up before he gets the job at Liverpool.
Oh, I don't think he's going to Liverpool. I'm just talking about both of them, those good buddies.
Oh, no, he's going to manage Liverpool at some point. I just don't think the time is now.
No, I'm just enjoying the thought of the two buddies in the unemployment line together.
I think one of the perfect examples that the NBC crew had talked about this weekend is Pep went out and got Haaland. he has worked his system to incorporate the big striker up top. Klopp has gotten Nunez, and he needs to work Nunez into his system.
And hasn't.
But he has to work him into his system.
Right.
How about
Change the system.
You take this fucking ungodly talent and you figure out, like, because the only thing that City is doing a little bit different is they're a little bit more direct to goal with their passing.
Mm-hmm.
It's not so much beating you from the outside as much anymore, or having to connect 4 passes. They're doing 2 passes to the space. Let the big fucking Norwegian run to it.
That Ricky Gervais. Get the Norwegian fella. That meme's pretty funny.
So moving on to the next one, Potter now finally first Premier match with Chelsea, but Palace take an early lead and really took it to Chelsea at home.
They did. Edouard got the opener after just 7.5 minutes. It was a tidy finish despite him having to stretch for it, but it was a fantastic cross from Ayew. It was a great run between 2 defenders. Neither one of them could catch them. I think Palace should feel hard done here because Thiago Silva should have been sent off.
Don't disagree. I do not disagree. I think that was
if he did
worthy
not
of a sending
swat
off.
that ball away, Edouard was in.
Mm-hmm.
Or as whoever it was.
And that should be
that's a straight
denial
red.
of a clear goal scoring opportunity.
That should be a straight red.
Again, VAR makes up the excuse it wants to make up.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't. It is not fair. It's not being handled fairly. The badge means more than the foul, and it's no different than when there was no VAR.
Right.
Because if there was no VAR, a ref also would have figured out a way to let that one slide.
Yeah.
But if it was on the other end of the pitch, a red would have been shown.
Probably.
Just how it works. So here's the beautiful.
Chelsea had a few chances, though, also.
yeah.
I mean, they weren't out of
yeah.
the game by any stretch, but they couldn't manage to keep a lot of them on target, and Guaita did have himself a pretty decent day.
Chelsea looked like a team that was figuring out its manager and a manager that's figuring out his team. And that's going to happen. But the problem is when you're one of the big clubs vying for Champions League, that window is short. You got to figure each other out real fucking quick.
Yep.
Real fucking quick. Now, here was the kind of heartwarming story. Conor Gallagher comes on, standing ovation from everybody at Selhurst
The
Park.
Palace supporters,
Supporters, and it was really beautiful. And then he kicked him right in the fucking ding-ding.
Yes, he did.
Right in the old ding-ding.
Obviously.
Scores the game winner in extra time. Now, he, of course, classy, just no celebration. His whole team surrounded him and hugged him, so he didn't even have to be seen. But, oh, my God, your player of the year last year.
Yeah, I had
Comes on as a sub.
very successful loan spell there, obviously, and then everybody's showing their appreciation.
Yeah, like the love fest. Like, it's Connor. We love fucking Connor. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Fuck you. I guarantee you, I could already give you the play-by-play in Narnia with Brad. Of course.
Yeah.
Of course he would fucking do. Of course he would do that.
It was a decent strike as well. I mean, it was a very good goal. There was a couple of really good goals this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anything's going to top Miggy's, but there was a fair few great goals.
Yeah. Same kind of question that I just asked about Liverpool. Is Chelsea going to get it together this season? Do we think they're going to figure it out? I mean,
I do. I thought it was interesting Koulibaly didn't start. You figure Graham Potter coming in, new manager to the club, obviously. Everybody kind of has a clean slate, and Chelsea spent a boatload of money on him in the summer. I'm surprised that he didn't. I mean, maybe there's something going on in training. Maybe there's an attitude issue. I don't know what it is, but he was even starting to be dropped by Thomas Tuchel before he left.
yeah.
Koulibaly wasn't starting here, in a lot of games.
Well, that red card didn't help either.
No, I mean, it was a dumb move, but at the same token, with as much money was spent on him and the reputation he came with, you figure you give him a chance. But they didn't.
Final question, we end the segment. If only one of these two teams, Liverpool or Chelsea, gets into Champions League, which one is it?
Ooh, I think Liverpool are better equipped to right the ship than Chelsea are.
All right, fair. I tend to agree, but I also ask that question because in reality, only one of those two teams are going to be in Champions League.
I would tend to agree with that.
Running out the rest of the league, and so that happened. Fulham, Newcastle 4, Fulham 1, Bournemouth 0, Brentford 0, Everton 2, Southampton 1, West Ham 2, Wolverhampton 0, Leeds 0, Aston Villa 0, Leicester City 4, Nottingham Forest 0. Bad red early sealed the fate for Fulham.
Yeah, I don't know what got into them. Not very Fulhamish, was it? It
No.
was a bad tackle.
And Newcastle's getting healthy at the right time.
Yeah.
It was sorry for your luck, fucking Fulham.
Yeah, no shit. I mean, Newcastle looks so much more dangerous with a tip to the spear that can actually do something.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Full offense to Chris Wood.
Yeah.
But with Callum Wilson up there, and Isaac even in the first couple of games he played, they've looked a much more dangerous prospect. They seem to have. They had a string of draws, obviously, prior to this win. But they came out and Joe Willock was excellent. Miguel Almiron obviously had his 2 goals, and then Callum Wilson got the opener.
Yep.
I mean, it was fantastic, and he had a couple other chances that he took well, but the keeper was either equal to it or he just missed.
Some improvement from a Marco Silva side because they did find a way to get at least a goal and stop the bleeding. Like they finally were able to shut it down and not give up 6 or 7. Because again, that's a fucking point. That's an extra fucking point at the end of the year, that goal differential.
Yeah, absolutely it is. And it there's the thing, right? I mean, if it's, and Mark, you said this about Marco Silva's, about Everton when he was there. One bad thing happens and it all kind of seems to fall apart. Plan A is great, but there's no plan B.
Right. It all just kind of snowballed.
Exactly. And it took all of 3 minutes after the red card for Callum Wilson to give Newcastle the lead.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it just kept going. Now, they did get the consolation goal at the end. It was a good run. It was a good cross. It was a good header. But Mitrovic was largely non-existent in this game, where he's been their focal point throughout the season so far, and obviously all of their championship season. So that'll be worrying. Now, of course, it was against his former club, and that can weigh on a player one of 2 ways, right?
Oh, of course.
Be extra motivation, or it can be kind of nervous about doing this.
These fuckers.
Yeah. So, but I mean, when they're at their on song, the entire team, Newcastle are a different prospect to the Banter Club they were, the last 4 or 5 years.
This is the kind of game you need to go win if you're going to be a top 10 side, if you're going to be challenging for a European spot, which that needs to be the aspiration of this club.
Absolutely,
Now that
100%.
this kind of money is you finish in 9th and finish just outside of Europe, but next year, Europe is the game plan. Like that's where you should be.
I think that's also going to... I think this season he'll be, whatever happens. Next season, I think, is Eddie Howe's chopping block season.
Yeah. Well, it's
finish in the European places or fuck off.
I mean,
but this season, I think, like you said, they're going to give him some rain, some leash.
The comparison is very simple to make to Manchester City in 2010, 11, and 12 as they were starting to grow as a side as well. It's a very easy comparison. It's a very fair comparison. And honestly, for Newcastle, it's what you kind of want to emulate. Frankly, it's what you want to emulate.
Well, what Newcastle should have done if they wanted to follow the City plan was hire Mark Hughes.
Oh, Sparky. Hey. They could still do it next season. That could happen. Not a ton.
I want Pardew to get hired again right as his 8-year payout's ending.
So
I want them to enter into another contract.
Yeah, I heard. Not a ton to really talk about in Brentford and Bournemouth, but there were chances for a 0-0 draw.
I thought Bournemouth were unlucky.
That's the first thing I have written here.
Yeah.
What the fuck, VAR? That was a fucking penalty.
100%.
That was a penalty. No, that is zero different than the penalty that didn't get called for West Ham against Chelsea.
See, and this example here is where I think your Big Six club argument usually falls down.
Right.
It's just bad refereeing, period.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
because there's no
fair.
reason to favor either one of these clubs. They're both roughly the same size.
It's very fair, but it was he slid through late. He didn't get the ball.
Yep.
He tackled the man, and as he tackled the man, he raised his leg to make sure he couldn't get by him. The ref went and looked at it.
Yep, and waved it off. It's just bad. It's just bad officiating
For a while. It wasn't like he looked at it for a few, like, the commentators were just like, how
Well,
do
the
you
knee-
look at it that
the
long
knee-
and not call it a fucking penalty?
The bottom knee that was sliding on the ground does make contact with the ball, but only after he hit the player at least 3 times. So he came in, hit him on
Yeah.
the side, raised his foot, hit him there, then hit him with the bottom leg, and then the knee hit the ball away.
I did find it
it's
funny.
like it's not even close.
Ivan Toney with a couple of chances, but his probably best play was saving it off the line.
Yeah, no shit.
You know, and for Bournemouth, it's another fucking point. Like,
Yeah, they're uglying games up enough that they're proving to be difficult to beat, and they're kind of trying to make the Vitality a bit of a fortress, even if it is only for a draw.
stay out of the drop zone as long as fucking possible.
Yep.
The longer you stay out of it, the better chance you're not ever going to go in it.
100%. And if they
So
keep
just-
picking up points, I mean, we're going to talk about them in a minute. Forest don't look like they got a fucking idea what they're doing.
Yeah,
You know what I
which
mean?
We're going to get
There's
to them, but yeah.
right. There's other teams that could, and it could be a situation where you're hoping that you're not as bad as the other 3.
Yeah.
And that may be your ticket to staying in the league this season. And if you do, that's something to build from.
And for Bournemouth, I think they can look down and go, okay, I would have said before today there's 3 teams worse than us. But after how Leicester looked today, I would look down and go, well, at least there's 2 teams worse than us. 'Cause
Right.
they could easily go, I think Forest and Wolves are worse than us. We can, so you just got to find one more. That's all you got to do. If you're the Cherries, find one more fucking team. Ugly it up just enough to stick around. That's all you got to fucking do.
Yep.
And right now they're doing it. I don't have faith that they will continue to do it, but they're doing it right now. That's all you can ask for.
100%.
Toffees win coming back from an international break. That never fucking happens. Toffees win on the road. That never fucking happens. Toffees win at St. Mary's Park. That never fucking happens. Okay. Sam Graham, I give you the number 1 defense in the EPL, the least goals against, your Everton fucking Toffees.
You sure about that?
Number 1.
I'm going to have to look that
Is
up.
this one of those 50% of the time it works
Yeah.
100% of the time deals?
I'm going to have to look this up.
Number 1 defense.
I don't believe it. I think this is bullshit.
Okay, you know what? Then if I've fucked it off, then Ryan Williams has fucked it off on the ATP, and my boys at the Everton Aren't We pod fucked it off too.
Oh, man.
It's true?
The Premier League app doesn't, it only shows goal difference. It doesn't show them both
Our goal
laid out.
difference
Of
is
course.
0.
Pickford.
But seven goals against. Now, all of that being said,
Just
it's-
7 against.
That's farcical because we've withstood a lot of pressure. Pickford's been playing fucking fantastic. So,
Yeah.
like, you look at it, you go, the best defense, like, yeah, they haven't given up as many goals, but they probably should have given up more than they have
Yeah.
already.
No shit.
The other interesting thing, chances created in the league. Number 1. We all know who number 1 is.
City.
No, player. What player?
Oh. Chances created? De Bruyne.
Yeah, goal chances created.
Uh-huh.
Number 2, Alex fucking Iwobi.
You're welcome. Again.
Now he takes credit for him. He shits on him whenever he fucks off. The
Pro Arsenal agenda.
the
He's
man's-
finally paying back some of that 40 million you spent on him for no reason.
28, you fucker.
40 was reported.
The key thing with him now, he's, dare I say, first name on the fucking team sheet.
Mm-hmm.
He's become that important, and again, broken record, fucking Idrissa Gana Gueye fixes all of it. The fact that you have someone there, he fixes all of it. Oh, and hey, by the way, Wolves, Connor Cody can't play in a 4.
He's been playing in a 4 and scored this weekend.
He's been playing in a fucking 4.
Brilliant. Love his sister getting involved on Twitter
That was funny.
after Bruno Lage no longer in charge.
Yeah, no longer in charge. What a funny weekend. But anywho,
I think she said the weekend that keeps on giving.
Yes, that
There's a
was it.
picture of her brother celebrating the goal, and then Bruno Lage standing there with his giant clown shoes.
Some interesting decisions from Hasenhüttl with the defense. I would have probably started Salisu. I don't know why he didn't. But the one thing that Southampton has going for it, if they decide to start a bunch of kids, they got a decent little bench.
Yeah, and absolutely. But what I'd be worried about was if I was Southampton, because of the position they find themselves in, and the way the league is at the moment, is with that young squad that they have. I thought they played very well in this game.
Yeah, does this kind of game hurt them?
They fell apart in a total of 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And the only thing I can gather from that was at least it wasn't 9 minutes.
Yeah. Heard. Come on, we're not capable of scoring 9.
But so I don't.
We're you know what we're capable of scoring? 7 all season because our goal differential is 0.
But I thought y'all played well also. I think Frank's starting to turn a corner. I think things are starting to level out. That a lot of that has to do with Idrissa Gueye. The other thing is Onana. What's my name?
Yep.
He was excellent again. Provided an assist in this one. He was fantastic.
Oh, they now went from before the season started is who the fuck's going to play midfield to holy shit, they got themselves a good midfield.
Oh yeah.
Decore's the sub.
Yeah.
They sold Alon. Sold him to a team in the United Arab Emirates last week.
Just go fucking retire already.
Yeah. But they've got.
How do they transfer him outside the window?
Because it's the UAE and they can just.
Is it their window?
Yeah, it's their window.
Maybe. Okay.
That's how they got rid of James Rodriguez as well. Was same
That's how
thing.
they got rid of Dele Alli to Turkey too.
Exactly, longer window. Irons are finally out of the drop. That's huge, and it's because Moyes finally changed his fucking lineup. Oh,
that's what I was going to say, damn it, about your boys. As a quote from your former manager when speaking about West Ham making the Europa League, is that David Moyes said, it just can't get any better than this. It just can't. One, that's not true. There's another competition you could have qualified for, right?
Well, two
but
actually.
Just the way in which you described everything that happened with this game just made me think of him saying that, and it coming out of your mouth.
Okay,
it just can't get any better than this. It just can't. 14th or 11th or whatever you are. It just can't.
Hey, I'm looking for comfortable
Flying
mid-table.
high. Yeah,
I am Keith Kern, man. Solidly mid-table. That
Flying
is what I'm
high
looking for.
at 11th.
Yeah, Irons finally out of the drop. Get a second win.
First goal for Skamaka.
Mm-hmm. Hell of a goal too.
Yeah, it was a decent goal. Good strike. Celebrations could use some work from him. That was pretty bland for a very tattooed Italian. I want to see something a little bit more special.
A little more style.
Yeah,
right?
please. Yeah. What are you doing? Wolves actually did control the ball for large parts of the game, though. And that, I think, would worry West Ham.
They have the players to do it.
Because West Ham aren't really a counterattacking team.
Mm-hmm.
West Ham are weird because they do have a couple of pacey players, but they tend to try to control the ball as much as they can. But Wolves had the ball. Wolves did everything they could, but there's no tip to the spear.
Yeah.
There's no front man. And they bought Diego they just got him in on a free after he hadn't played for 18 months, and then only gave him 30 minutes. And he actually looked decent. The goal, unlucky, it was ruled offside. I think could have changed a few things. And Jared Bowen did very well to win that game for West Ham, to seal that game for West Ham, rather. But I don't know what somebody's going to do to Wolves to fix it, as I don't think a 36-year-old Diego Costa, 37-year-old Diego Costa, whatever he is now, is the answer to their striker issue.
I wonder. Here's what I wonder, and it's weird because Bruno Lage was more of an offensive-minded coach. That is, it's almost kind of like what Rafa did to Everton last year. He's almost crippled them to the point it's like, well, I mean, they've had their legs bashed in with a hammer. How do we expect them to ever fucking walk again? Like, it just doesn't feel right. It feels like even if they bring in, I don't have confidence that those guys are it's gonna click. And the sad part is, there's a fuck ton of talent on that team.
I think part of the problem is
a team that is or dare I say, one of those too good to go down kind of teams.
They spent $100 million in the summer on basically attacking players, one of the guys they bought the summer prior, they loaned out to Genk or somebody in Belgium.
Yep.
And the players that are there that are still there are mainly Nuno's players. Mm-hmm. They spent a boatload of that $100 million though on a striker that did get hurt in preseason and has not featured yet. Fine.
Right.
But
well, no, he got hurt in 30 seconds of play.
Whatever. Yeah. Essentially preseason then.
Yeah.
But my point is most of those players that are consistently playing are Nuno type players, and that was a much more defensive / counterattacking style than Bruno Lage wanted to play, but he's used the same players, has not adapted his system, and asked them to play a totally different way than what they've been doing for 3-4 years that have made them so successful.
Here's a dumb thought. Do you bring back fucking Nuno?
Nah. I think his stock is gone. I think they feel betrayed. I think a lot of I think there's bad blood there.
Okay. Fair enough. Yes.
I'm sorry, who's been linked with it? Julian Lopetegui, the Spain coach that got fired 2 days before the World Cup.
Him.
In 2018. Yeah.
Yeah, that'll go swimmingly well.
Can't wait. I love the fact that they've loaded the team with Portuguese players, and now they're bringing in somebody in that speaks Spanish.
Yeah, that'll go over real well.
It's going to be great.
That's hysterical.
Yeah.
You know what? Feisty game out of both Leeds and Villa.
Were you talking about that random UFC match in the middle of the fucking Premier League game week?
It was a little pushy shovey.
Pushy shovey.
My favorite move was, I don't know, some Leeds fucker had gotten the ball and they had some momentum and gotten through everybody, and then Tyrone Mings shove.
Yeah.
And then just grins at the referee and he starts shit talking. And I looked at Nicole and I was like, look, he's back to his hijinks. No better way to kill a momentum than shove.
What a stupid fucking second yellow card.
What an idiot.
You're on a yellow.
Yeah.
Don't give the ref the decision. Listen, what I talked about earlier. Do not give him a decision to make.
Listen.
That is the dumbest fucking thing.
I am not here, right, for bullying. I'm not here for hazing. I really don't have a lot of time for a lot of those things. If I was on that team, I'd have duct taped him to a bench. I'd have put a bar of soap in a fucking pillowcase, and I'd have beat the shit out of him.
Private Pile.
Come here, Pile.
I mean,
Are you dumb as shit, Private Pile?
Not that it helped him much. We still couldn't score.
And then the commentators, the commentators then too said with it was like, well, I mean, that could have just used a talking to. No, it's a second fucking yellow and you're off. Like
now,
that is a bullshit. Like
now,
don't fucking do that.
Here's the caveat though. Here's the asterisk I would say. Mm-hmm. Do you remember at Soccer Dome? This is at our level, right? Yeah. Where to stop the gamesmanship, they had to announce we are giving a yellow card straight away if you infringe on a free kick from within the 5 steps or whatever. Yep. In this case, obviously in the Premier League, 10 yards.
Right.
Prior to that, though, you had to ask for your distance.
Right.
The Villa players did not ask for any distance. They just tried to play quickly.
Right.
Now, he did have a chance. He should have been able to move properly, but what player runs back to exactly 10 yards and stands?
He also did the frog leg.
I know. But I'm saying my caveat to with the talking to side, just devil's advocate, because it is a yellow card. It's supposed to be a yellow card, at least. It's not always given. But the caveat, I would say, is the villains did not ask for their space. So I can understand the argument of that could have done with a talking to. It was also the first attempted time wasting of the game, period. You always give a talking to first for that. Goalkeeper holds on too long, takes ages over a goal kick. They always get spoken to first before a yellow card.
And I still say don't give the ref.
I'm just saying you're giving the ref a decision to make, and a yellow card is the right decision.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that's wrong. I'm saying I'm just playing devil's advocate for the announcers that are saying.
Fair enough.
So I do understand that part of the argument, but it's so fucking stupid. I'd have beat the shit out. I would have Roy Keane fucking taken my boots off and slapped him across the face with my studs if he got sent off for that dumbass shit. and I was on that team.
Good little match for Meslier. Ollie Watkins is in a hard way on trying to score, man. Hard way.
Good last 70 minutes for Meslier.
Yeah.
The first 20 were atrocious.
Yeah.
Misjudging the flight of balls. Things were dropping in the box that should have never been. He shouldn't even have gone for. And that was what I was going to say to Mel is if you all didn't score in that first 20 minutes, it was always going to be 0-0.
Yeah.
I got that feeling. As soon as he made that first really good save, it was like he switched back on.
Yeah,
Villa's going to find it difficult now.
Yeah. And
Did you see Batman made an appearance?
Yes, I did.
Oh, I did.
Luke Ayling
What
with
was
his
the deal
broken
with
nose
that? I
face
didn't
shield
know.
thing.
Oh, was that what it is?
Yeah, I know.
It was all blacked out. Yeah, it looks like Batman.
Batman.
So the bartender at the Queen Vic in D.C., you know, the Villa bar. Nobody else's.
Yeah, nobody else.
Nobody else's.
Yeah.
She's, she watches it because she works there. Her best quote, I'm starting to think some of these soccer players were theater kids.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, it's no different than taking honestly, it's no different than taking a charge in basketball. Most of that's fake, right? You know what I'm saying? You sell it. You try to sell the referee on it. It's gamesmanship. I get that.
And now to the final match.
It's just the rolling all the way to KFC like Neymar did in the last World Cup. That's fucking ridiculous.
Right.
Like that kind of shit.
Finally for Rodgers. Finally for the Foxes.
I think Rodgers wanted to get sacked and couldn't. And then his players responded.
Finally a fucking performance.
James Madison wants to go to Qatar, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. Talking about a game of inches, because Awoni, if that ball doesn't hit the pipe and goes in, and it's 1-0, fucking Forest,
yeah.
That's a completely different match.
It could be, yeah,
Leicester.
for sure.
But Leicester, they get that goal, and then 10 minutes later, it's 3-0.
But, excuse me, that was weird. There is nothing in that Forest performance that suggests to me that they are going to stay up the season.
No, I don't.
They
I don't
were
think
disorganized.
I don't think they're going to get it right.
I mean, this is probably my highlight of the weekend, despite the great goals, despite the Miguel Almiron volley, despite all that stuff, the red cards, which were imbecilic. I may have just made up a word.
That's fine. Good. Keep it rolling.
The way in which Dean Henderson had that temper tantrum after the second goal just made me smile. It was a fantastic Harvey Barnes goal, cutting in from the left after receiving a ball back from Jamie Vardy, who was as casual as could be, and both chasing the ball down and passing it to Harvey Barnes. Him doing Nico Williams so easily and then just lacing it to the far corner was the stuff of dreams. And Dean Henderson, full stretch, couldn't get there, and he fucking frog flopped like the proper worm to get himself off the ground and just starts punching and hammering the floor. It was like, first, you need your hands, okay? Yeah. Don't punch the ground if you're a goalkeeper. This is like when Aaron Ramsdale
you're the only
celebrated.
bright spot on the side right now. Don't get hurt.
It's like when Aaron Ramsdale celebrated by punching the post. We're like, what the fuck are you doing?
Don't
break your finger, you idiot. Yeah. Dean Henderson just like jumps up, starts punching the ground. You can see him screaming the whole way he's doing it. It is fucking hysterical.
How the fuck do you let them walk in that fucking easy?
It was so simple. It was so simple. I mean, the strike was excellent. He had a fair amount to do with the shot itself.
But getting was too easy.
Getting to that point was nothing.
Way too easy.
My goodness. And that's his problem. I feel his pain. That's what happens when you sign 20 people in the offseason.
Yeah, the commentators very jokingly said it'll probably be a completely different lineup next week against Villa.
Exactly.
And they're not wrong. They're not wrong at all.
Did you see Steve Cooper's face when it happened?
Yeah.
He just went down, held his knees, and just stared at the ground like, what the fuck? Like, this is not what we train. So Palace was losing those games early in the season, right? And maybe towards the tail end of right when Patrick Vieira took over, actually. They were losing a fair amount of games. You could see what they were training on because obvious shortcomings in Roy Hodgson's setup, Patrick Vieira, like they were trying
And they
to
were
get
getting
better
fixed.
at those things,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
They were
at the
doing
beginning
better.
Of last season, you saw them lose games, and you're like, yeah, but this was better than the week before.
Right.
That was better than the week before that. And
Right.
It's getting like you could see it. You don't see that at all with Forest.
At all. I have no idea what they're training. Honestly, it just looks like they're going in and watching Harry Potter movies.
So, a few thoughts here. Danny Ward tried to fuck off getting a shutout multiple times.
I know.
He
I'm
tried
telling you,
his best.
this is
fuck off.
He
a
better
shutout.
fucking revel in this. This will be the only clean sheet he gets the entire season.
And you know what? He wasn't the worst Leicester goalkeeper this weekend. I'm not sure if you saw our boy Brody put up a tweet about it. The Everton ladies beat the Lady Foxes in the 90-plus minute. Unfortunately, the goalkeeper for the Foxes, we like to call it in the business pulling a ward.
Yeah.
Went out for the ball, kind of hit her like right on both of the hands, like on the palms,
both of the hands.
and redirected itself back towards the goal because it was gonna go wide.
Nice. Love seeing that.
It was.
That's brilliant.
Not good at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Ward really did want to fuck off the shutout.
He's terrible. He's the worst goalkeeper this league's ever seen.
Sure money.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is Shore Money. This is where we give you our bets of the week to better inform you on your bets of the week and make sure that you win some motherfucking money.
Mm-hmm.
If you can't sense the sarcasm in that intro, that is your problem, not ours. We are not responsible for your bad choices. I'm down $700. Sammy, how are you doing?
Well, Nunez did not play, which means Nunez could not score, which means it's a push. I'm now 1-6. I should have 2 other bets, right? But I have 2 pushes, so I like to consider those draws. So I'm
yeah, leaving even is the new up.
1-5. I'm 1-2 and 5.
Maybe we can get Netflix to pick that up. What do you think? Even is the new up instead of orange is the new black.
So,
and it's just me, Pat, and Sam all tired and shit with like luggage bags under our eyes at the sports book at 6 a.m.
So
with our 3rd cup of coffee.
I am still down just a mere $249.
Big Sam's Lock of the Week.
For the 3rd week in a row, Mr. Graham, I tell you that 16.666667% of the time works 100% of the time.
Stupid.
And then occasionally you get a few pushes, which is nice as well. I'm going to take a 2-game parlay with a couple of favorites.
Is that even a parlay, though?
Yeah, it is. I'm going to take City to beat Southampton and Tottenham to beat Brighton at plus 181. I just want to kind of keep digging out of the hole while I watch you go in the other direction. So
That's fine. I'm going to do the same thing we do every year.
Hit your 10-game parlay.
I'm going to hit a 5 or 6 game parlay around March, win, and then do sensible shit until the end of the season.
Except for the 2 times so far that you've lost to me.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah, that's exactly what happens.
And now, it's time for our degenerate gambling friend Pat's Pick of the Week.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, how's it going?
Not bad. How are you?
Can't complain.
Good.
Kurt,
Rainy weekend.
Kurt Cousins did perfectly fine in prime time. They got the win.
I mean, but did he?
No, he didn't.
I mean, it came in overtime. You know what I mean? They still covered the 2.5. It was up to 4 by game time. So,
Oh, no shit.
you know, if you put a late bet in, then on New Orleans with +4, you would have won. But yeah, no, I'm happy about that Green Bay game yesterday. That was the game of the weekend for me.
Pat, wrong football again, bud.
I know. I'm sorry. Okay, let's get on track here. All right, so I'm down 400, and so this week I'm going to do just the same as Sam's doing, is 2-game parlay, and we're actually sharing a game too. I'm going to take Tottenham as well at plus 150, and Manchester United over Everton at minus 108, which will pay off at 380.
You didn't learn from last week betting against Everton?
Well, I still like that bet. I was on the right side of that bet. What was to happen is Everton would have lost that game, and then Manchester United would have had a draw or something against Man City. So whatever, it is what it is. It's just the way this year's going, anyways.
Heard.
for everything that I bet on. So, it'll turn around. Christmas is around the corner, right?
Yeah, hopefully your kids have something under the tree.
let's hope so.
Has anything else been going on, dude? Everything okay? I feel like I didn't give you the respect you deserved last week, so I'll give you a little extra airtime.
No, it's all good. I was actually recovering from COVID last week, too, so I was still got a cough from it, too, about 2 weeks now.
Damn.
But, everything else going good. Can't complain.
All right, good.
Looking forward to, I don't know, fall, October, beer.
You don't let them riff. Don't let them riff. Stick to the script, man. Stick to the script. It's what works well,
man. It's not even the weather. It's the season.
Sam,
looking forward to
look. I know it's your segment.
Fall.
I know it's your segment now, but I'm just telling you, tried and true system. Let the boys stick to the script.
I know. Last week I was like, "Hey, thanks, great, see you, bye," because you were rushing me.
Yeah, that was better.
Make sure he feels included. That's all.
No, that was better last week.
All right, well, then see you, fucker. Thanks, dude. We appreciate it as always.
All right, take it easy.
All right.
Bye.
All right, I was stung by the bees again, which is what my Dort Spirect Cup of Losers says, and I wrote it in orange-colored pencil, so you can't really see it. Brilliant. So now I'm down $700, as I said before. Mm-hmm. This week is City over Southampton. Pretty much guaranteed. A draw between Leicester and Bournemouth, I think. Simply to make this game interesting.
Okay.
All
right.
Bournemouth have been resolute at the back in the last few weeks since Scotty Parker got fired. And Leicester haven't had problems scoring goals, but I think they might against Bournemouth.
Okay.
I don't know why. I just got a feeling. I also wrote this prior to today's game, which sucks. And then Brighton to beat Tottenham.
Okay.
Because Tottenham aren't playing very well. That's my hot take.
And I picked Tottenham to win. Very good. All right.
So, of course, it'll come down to that, and I'll get like a 90-second Harry Kane winner, and I'll be fucking annoyed. But that is supposed to net me plus $1,041.
Fabulous. Very good. Yep. Very good. The thing we have to realize is do not improvise ever with Pat. But you know what you can improvise with? A fucking chicken.
Well, Kitty hit with City's massive derby win and sits at 4-3. So this time, I gave Kitty Newcastle hosting Brentford. Now, Kitty showed me her new book. Did you guys know she published a book?
Published? Wow. Very accomplished.
It's called Working It Out, How to Handle Conflict Within the Workplace.
Oh.
Now, she read an expert, she brocked an expert, where she worked with Lee Bauer.
An excerpt?
That's what I said.
You said an expert.
She is an expert.
Okay,
she is
very
an
good.
expert who brocked an excerpt from her latest book.
Again, stick to the script. Don't let's not
I was going to say, wait, time out from this whole thing. You said we can always improvise with a chick is literally the only part of the show that's scripted. Literally the only part of the show that's scripted.
I said the chicken, not the reader.
So she worked with Lee Bauer and Kieran Dyer to iron out the bad feelings from their double red card ejection against Villa back in 2005.
Lee Bowyer and Kieran Dyer.
That joke was written for one person and one person only, and it fucking landed. You're welcome, Mr. Graham.
I love it.
I'll see if she can come in here next week and work with you two. Now, seeing how she worked things out with those guys whose names I won't repeat because you already know who they are, clearly, she is seeing Newcastle working it out this weekend over Brentford.
Working it out, settling disputes in the workplace. Available now on Amazon and wherever you get your fine books.
Did you read the forward in the book?
No, what did it say?
Oh, it was really good. It said, always remember to gamble legally and responsibly.
Championship corner!
I've fallen and I can't get up. Oh no!
That That was a stellar assist by me, by the way. That was
not bad.
When she needs to hit it off the post, that was me just leading that. That was Vardy casually running down the sidelines and passing it to Parks.
Yeah, no shit. All right, so the championship roared back on Friday with a Luton 2-0 win over Hull, away from home, actually.
Ooh.
Blackburn 2-1 over Millwall. Norwich City grabbing a win 1-0 over Blackpool. QPR still doing well, 2-1 over Bristol City. Burnley stuttering a little bit, 1-1 against Cardiff. Coventry 1-0 over Borough, kind of righting some of the wrongs prior to the international break. Reading 3-1 over Huddersfield. Wigan getting a rare win here, 2-0 over Rotherham. Birmingham City and Sheffield United were 1-1. Sunderland and Preston 0-0. I'm sure that was an impressive game. Steve Bruce lost by the nice crispy outer of a sausage roll, 3-2 to Swansea. And then on Sunday, Watford took it to Stoke 4-0. I guess they can do it on a rainy Sunday in Stoke. That leaves your table looking like Sheffield United on top, 24 points from 11 games. Everyone actually is on 11 games except for Wigan and Rotherham, and then Coventry's only got 8. Huddersfield's only got 10. So everybody else is on 11. Sheffield United with 24 points in first. Norwich in second with 23 points. Reading in third, 21. Burnley falling to fourth on 18 points. QPR actually level with points with Burnley, behind just 3 goals on goal differential, 18 points as well. Blackburn Rovers in sixth place, rounding out the playoff spots with an 18-pointer as well, minus 1 goal differential there. And then your outside chances, you got Watford, Sunderland, Luton, Wigan, and Swansea, all within 3 points of those playoff spots.
Excellent. Very, very good. Well, that's going to wrap it up, boys and girls. Sammy, any parting words?
Yeah, there's a few.
Okay.
There was a report released today. Keep it at home first, I think. There was a report released today, the Haynes report, that showed systemic widespread abuse throughout the WSL and women's soccer in pretty much every level of the game.
Oh.
U.S. soccer is now requiring background checks for every person that works, men's or women's, for the U.S. Soccer Federation, which is surprising that was not in place to begin with, since a lot of them are working with young people.
You would think a background check would be...
That's standard operating procedure, really.
We sell booze for a living.
We have background checks, yeah.
Have a background check.
Now, work with kids, you got it. So that's sad to see and hear. And disgusting, really. It's a 300-some-odd page report, I think. I read the first maybe 6 paragraphs and pretty fucking disgusted.
One day, it's about all I really want to read.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, it's bad.
Kind of shit that as a father makes you want to fucking
especially
punch
2
someone.
girls. Yeah, and why I coach my kids' teams. You know, that's why I'm involved.
I turned my video back on so everybody could see my surprise face.
Yeah. Unfortunate. It's just. Don't be a cunt. It's not that hard.
Not hard at all. It's just
back. It's a very simple motto.
It's disgusting. And then the other one is, I believe, is in either Malaysia or the Philippines. Indonesia. Thank you. And it was over that side of the world. There was a riot in a stadium, and at least 174 people are dead.
Fuck. That number keeps getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah, it does. It's bad news. I'm not exactly sure what set the riot off, but don't riot if you can in an enclosed space with nowhere to go.
Also, apparently,
most of those deaths were tramplings.
Yeah.
From what I read, so they were just literally stepping on the people in the crowd with them.
Apparently, the police decided that a good way to subdue all this would be throw tear gas in, because that'll solve.
Makes the situation a lot better.
Solves problems.
That calms the situations down.
Yeah, because when you can't see and you're choking and you're coughing, what you're going to do is peacefully sit down and stop. Yeah, no, you're going to fucking run and try to get away.
So, you know what works? Tear gas is for. You know that works for a situation involving 3 people or less.
Yes, very simple.
Because all it does, especially in a mob that's already a mob, is escalate things exponentially, because nobody could see, hear, or breathe, so they just run in whatever direction they see fit, and it just makes it 10 times worse.
Dude.
I mean, even I'm not for the use of them. Even a water cannon is a better situation than tear gas in that sort of environment.
A beanbag gun, you get the shields, you line up a wall, and you saw it. Unfortunately, we saw it all throughout the pandemic when there was riots in cities over George Floyd. It was police would make a wall and just walk them back.
I mean, that wasn't everything they did, but yes,
walk them back. Like,
but there's certain things
there's
that you
ways
do
to subdue a crowd.
Yeah.
There's also ways to just release that tension.
Mm-hmm.
Don't engage. They did that in Baltimore.
Yeah.
Don't engage. Mm-hmm. Damage would have been 10 times worse had they also been fighting the police.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Right.
Terrible.
And that's what you're trying to avoid. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're fine. I do have something fun that I can end you guys with.
Please.
Yeah.
End us with.
I didn't discover this. Christian discovered that last week, one of the teams in Wrexham's league is, you ready? Dorking Wanderers.
Dorking
Wanderers.
Dorking Wanderer.
I'd love to give them a good dorking.
As God, what was the Johnny Dangerously, the old movie from the 80s?
I was born in the 80s.
Well, yes, I know. Hey, Taylor's fucking mule kicking and fist bumping right now.
Mule kicking.
The guy
He was dorking.
The movie was PG, and he never says fucking. He says farking. Like, so it's like,
yeah,
these farking people. This is farking war, right? And like
Farking bastages.
It's based kind of a gangster movie. So like they have like the spinning newspaper, and boop, and it's this is farking war across the front of it. So
that's funny. Dorking Wanderers. That's
anything
pretty
that
good.
sounds like the word fuck, I'm always a fan of. So
yeah.
Dorking Wanderers. So they're just wandering around the fort, dorking things.
That's pretty good. I think I'll probably leave my shit there then, because I did have a final thought on the Malaysian thing, or Indonesian thing, but forget it.
Excellent.
All good.
Thank you so much for joining us, everybody. Next up is Injury Time. We're going to discuss the beers that we were drinking. We're going to check in on our adopted clubs. A little something fun about fantasy. There'll be a very interesting stat that I'm going to give you in my loss this week that was kind of funny, that you will very much appreciate.
All right.
And you can find that how, Mr. Graham?
Very easily, actually. Patreon.com/DUFootballShow. Just spit a ton right at the camera, and I saw it fly out. That was nasty. Excuse me. Patreon.com/DUFootballShow and sign up to our $5 tier.
Excellent. Very good.
And you'll get all the extra stuff.
Everybody that joined us live, thank you so much. It means a lot.
Appreciate it.
Give a quick share to your friends, and we'll talk to you all next week.
Good night.